Alright guys, how 3D printing changed this dog's life. I haven't reacted to a Marquise video for a while, so let's check it out. There's looks like a 3D printed leg right there as well, so I don't know if that's a little bit of foreshadowing, but yeah. Nah, bro, he's got
So
three
this is
legs.
Cleo, and as you can probably immediately tell, Cleo is an awesome dog. She's one of the nicest dogs I've ever met. She
Poor thing. Hopefully she wasn't abused or anything, guys. That'd be all bad.
loves people, anyone that'll give her any food. She's pretty classic dog stuff.
I also have a dog that's handy capable. One of my dogs has only one eye.
And she also happens to be missing her right leg. She was found on Pet Finder after she spent some time as a stray in Oklahoma with injuries from unknown causes. Now, hanging out with Cleo and just playing with her, like, you'd almost forget, like, you wouldn't even know that she's missing a leg because she's just running around, chasing stuff, playing fetch.
I could tell, guys, But she seems, she's not that down bad, guys. She had both. She lost both her legs. That'd be terrible.
Loves being outdoors, all
She'd
that
need like a dog wheelchair or something.
classic dog stuff. But although she appears super healthy now, dogs that are missing limbs and any pets that are missing limbs are actually more likely to have things like arthritis and joint problems in their other limbs later in life because they're compensating for the missing limb. So
Dang.
she's running around being awesome now, but it would be ideal for her long term to be
Yes, we need to get her some help, man. Don't you wish dogs could live longer, guys? I personally do.
supported. So that's where this company called 3D Pets comes in. So they reached out and they were telling me they have a particularly high-tech solution
Wonder if he adopted this dog, guys.
to the problem and asked if I basically wanted to go see it. And it turns out it is pretty sick. I mean, I've already talked about this before, but there's tech in everything. Like every story, every angle, everything I see on the news nowadays, it has some tech in it. But even this story surprised me at just how much tech was involved in helping dogs like Cleo.
Alright, guys, so we're gonna see this dog get a prosthetic leg, most likely, and it's gonna be amazing.
So it's this multi-step process. First up is this scan. So the pet comes into their studio, which is actually in New Jersey, pretty close to our video studio, and they actually use a smartphone to 3D scan the animal.
Just a smartphone, guys?
So the idea
What? A smartphone, guys. So no high quality DLSR needed for this.
is to take a few scans. They actually use the iPhone's LiDAR scanner or use the True Depth camera system or
Yeah, okay, iPhone, dang man. Not sure which version of the iPhone it is. Because I was trying to get a Pixel phone, guys. I was trying to get a Pixel phone, and I wonder if the Pixel phone I'm looking at, the Pixel 7 has this.
both. This isn't exactly what they were designed for, but with apps like Combed and Hedges, it is a pretty clever solution for just basic measuring. So basically, once you get Cleo to hold still for long enough, you can get a pretty decently accurate scan of her dimensions. You know, how high off the ground she is, how far around.
Dang, bro. I know AI has to come into play with this, guys. It'll take a while for, like, a regular doctor to do all this, right, guys? Take all these measurements and stuff. Thank goodness. Thank goodness for technology, man.
The shape of the prosthesis, what that needs to be, etc. And all of this is to be used in the next step, which is 3D printing the prosthesis, which is crazy. Now, you might be thinking, like I was at the beginning of this, wait a second, why is there so much tech being used in this process? Like, why is it 3D scanning the animal and then 3D printing the prosthesis?
Why not, bro? You know what I mean? It takes the load off of a bunch of work, bro. When we could be focusing our efforts on different things. At least that's my thesis here.
What's going on here? And the real answer, as they explained it to me, basically is because every single animal's situation is a little bit different. No two are exactly the same, whether it's the reason that they lost the limb or part of the limb, but then just like the size of the animal.
You could take that into like research purposes. Man, I wish we had like some sort of like well-being scanner. See if they like their like prosthetic limb, and see if they feel better, how much they feel better, knowing they have it and stuff for research purposes, so that can go to like making a better prosthetic limb and stuff.
Animal, how big are they? How far off the ground does the limb end? How much weight are they going to be able to put on it? All these different things are slightly different for every single animal, kind of like a fingerprint. So clearly you can't just mass produce one size fits all prosthetic. Obviously, even with humans, you know this is already true. But the idea is you want it to be as custom and bespoke and comfortable for every single animal as possible. So this 3D printing process allows for rapid reiteration and making a couple different versions till you get it exactly right. And so this is why they're doing it this way. 3D Pets in particular, they've worked with over 300 different animals so far at their studio. They actually start with a candidacy form on their website, but then once they get going, they have a ton of options. To date, they've done...
Dang, bro, it looks halfway futuristic, halfway like, I don't know, guys. Like nothing like a paw. That's not what they're going for. Guys, do you approve of this? Do you like this design? I mean, if it helps the well-being of the pet, I'm all for it. Let me know in the comments below.
Many dogs as pets, but also some ducks,
Ducks as well, guys.
tortoise,
Wow, that's
a
so
pig.
cool.
They had a goat recently that was missing part of its skull that didn't form properly. And, you know, goats like to use their heads for stuff, obviously. So they made a helmet for him.
Dang, man.
And one elephant leg recently.
Elephant? What? No way.
But anyway, ClioScan.
Wait, I want to see the picture. Dang, you didn't show.
Pretty straightforward. And within 5 minutes, they have a couple decently accurate models to work with. And then they import it into the computer to move to step 2. So how
The dog looks so friendly, guys. Dogs are awesome.
would you get the scan off the phone?
Well, that's the easy part. We get the scan off the phone onto our web portal, which we're able to bring into a custom design software here, where that's really where the magic happens, right? Where we're able to
Bro got a whole 3D blender model or something, it looks like.
take a design and really mold it to the 3D scan of each pet so that we can make sure everything's fitting perfect.
So this is ClioScan
Right.
and the appropriate fit as it would be built on the scan.
Right, so you can see the scan overlaid, and you know, we can patch things up as needed. It's almost like 3D Photoshop in a way, but then we're able to control the
I'm excited for the future. I'm super excited for the future, guys. What if at one point they could like interchange it between like, you know, a roller at the end of it, or just like a stopper, like a, you know what I mean? If it was a roller, they could go faster, right, guys? It's almost like it would be better.
lattice, where
Maybe they'll go faster. I don't know.
the hardware mounts, where the straps go. We can really position everything perfect to each pet. And then once we're happy, once it's set, then we bring it into another software where this is where we optimize it for printing. So we have to be able to basically give the printer instruction on what to make. So this is where we really fine tune the intricacies and the detail of each layer. Because again, we want some areas to be nice and rigid, where hardware mounts, for example, but like around the rib cage, around the lungs, we want the flexibility. So you can see we don't have that thick lattice there. This over here, these wings, we can really easily bend. Even if the dog fluctuates in weight, we want it to accommodate those changes. But where the mount.
Also using a Macintosh here. All Macintosh this video, guys. You know, these YouTubers, Mr. Who's the Boss, Marquise, they're huge Macintosh. Linus isn't really much Macintosh, but both of them, Mr. Who's the Boss, Marquise, they have bigger following, or at least a higher sub count. Linus is still on hiatus until like Wednesday.
Is where the hardware is on this end. This we want to be really sturdy and strong, because that's where the impact is. So once we're happy with this, once it's ready to go, we'll take it over to one of the 3D printers, and we have a whole bunch of different sizes depending on the case, depending on the animal. So, but they're all pretty similar in how they work.
So 3D printing, to be perfectly honest, I never really cared that much about 3D printing. This is like a confession. Like I never...
Yeah, me either, guys. However, if I ever get one, it'll be fun to do it, like make videos with, guys.
There was a ton of hype about it, and obviously a lot of people care a lot about it, but every time it was brought up to me, I couldn't really find a reason to care. And we got a 3D printer at the studio, and you know, we've printed a couple random trinkets here and there, mostly things that are just like useless stuff, just to see if it'll work.
You know, that's so cool though. Not gonna lie. SD cards are small nowadays, though, guys. 128 gigs. Oh man, they need to be like a few terabytes at least.
You know, whatever, neat. But this is the first time I've seen a situation where 3D printing clearly makes the most sense for a manufacturing process. Obviously, you can't do one single mold. You can't do one size fits all. So like I said, it just made...
Now, if we somehow get some programs to do what that guy was doing, that would be even cooler.
the most sense for once.
But then again, you know how like so many corporations have just fired their employees because of AI and stuff. It could be bad as well.
We have a couple different size printers in here, ranging from something like an Anker M5, something you might buy on Amazon, all the way up to an industrial sized one, the size of a refrigerator, basically to work on different sized pieces.
That looks like one of those things you put a quarter in and try to get the stuffed animal out of, right guys?
Pieces for different animals. So once they were happy with Clio's design of the prosthesis in the software, it hits the printer, and about literally 24 hours later, it's done. It's printed, the whole thing. Now, this isn't the final step for hers. There is still a sanding down process to soften the corners and make it as comfortable as possible. And also in 3D printing, there's commonly these support pieces that you get.
It looks like a whole like body armor, like a swimsuit or like a futuristic swimsuit or something, guys.
Yeah,
almost.
When you print oddly shaped objects that need to be cut off. And they're actually working on ways to melt that down and use it in other things like wheels or feet, so they can actually be resourceful about that as well.
Oh snap, they got wheels in the making. This is for some dogs that, you know, lost both limbs, probably.
But they've showed me a bunch of examples of various shapes and sizes of things they've printed for animals in the past.
So this one is just about ready to ship out. This dog has a residual limb, so we have this build out here, and we do it like this so that we can keep the weight-bearing load right below where the limb used to be.
Yeah.
If we have it in any other place, they just won't be able to walk correctly.
And this is also now softened down, and is it just sanded basically?
We do a sand and torch.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll basically burn the material back like what the machine is doing, heating it up to a melting temperature.
Okay.
It smooths it out. And something that we're very well known for with our devices are our feet. And so one of the biggest things is when the dogs are taking steps, you want that foot to be able to compress to absorb that impact.
Sure. Yep.
I'll trade you.
Bro, so not to the point where we have like robotic prosthetic limbs yet, but that'll be cool.
I think this is version like
It's
5
definitely helping the quality of life. I can't wait to see the end here, guys.
or 6 of the foot.
Okay.
And we're on version like 10 or 12 of the harness. So they're constantly changing and adapting. You know, if somebody reaches out to us and they say, I burned through a foot, here are the reasons why, we're going to make the changes to the foot so that stops happening. And so that's why we go through our variations. We're actually working on the next version of the foot, which has rounder edges, so more of a radius on these edges.
Like a tire, maybe?
Yeah, exactly like a tire, because dogs tend to lean on one side or the other, and we'll typically have the owners flip it around once they start to wear on one side so it wears evenly.
Tire rotation.
Exactly, right,
Yeah.
a foot rotation.
That's funny.
And then behind you we have some of our carts that are in process too.
Hey, we're becoming machines even quicker and quicker, guys. This is quite amazing.
Yeah.
So this is one going down to a dog in Texas. She's got 2 deformed limbs. In fact, one is really not formed at all, but she's got one deformed here on the left-hand side. So we made provisions for that so that the shoulders can still move around. So this will get 3 6-inch wheels on each corner. And then this is another good example. This is for a dachshund that has 1 full remaining leg and had a partial amputation. And so the owners didn't want something extremely bulky, but they wanted that
Got the power tools. I'm not sure if the power tools are being used here.
front leg to have support, because dachshunds have a lot of back problems.
Yeah.
So we designed
Oh, you saying dash hounds or dachshunds? I have no clue.
this specifically for this case where the dachshund can put
You're saying dachshund, like I think it's dash. I don't know, guys. Maybe dachshund is a different thing than dash
its
hound.
legs and move it and still have the support on the outer edges. And we still have our flexible harness here. And the wheels can change camber as well too. So depending on
Sport mode. Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll go up to 8 or 10-inch wheels. I think you saw this one.
Got Escalade dogs?
We should do spinners on one of these rims one of these days, honestly. That would be
amazing.
fantastic. You know, we actually, I haven't put it past people. The woman that we did our original dachshund cart for, she saw our black wheels and she was like, I'd like silver rims, please. And I thought she was joking. I totally thought she was joking. And I was like, oh, that's a cool idea. She's like, no, really, I want silver wheels.
Dang, bro. You Even this. Oh my gosh, dude, that's funny. I can't believe she wanted rims.
Would you paint it or would you?
We ended up painting it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, Cleo's scan was pretty good. Then they designed her prosthesis around that scan. That went great. Then they printed it, sanded it and torched it down, and matched it with the leg for her height. The only step left now is to see how it works. So what I kind of didn't realize is it's not just like you attach the prosthesis to the dog and then they just magically start running around perfectly like they've had it their whole life. But no, like anyone who's had crutches knows this, there's actually an adjustment process as you get more and more used to it. So I got to
Hey bro, she can't reach it down completely yet, but
watch Cleo sort of learn in real time, even in just these few minutes, go from hovering it off the ground to eventually starting to trust it. And the process of them getting used to it, depending on the pet, is basically to introduce them to more and more time per day with it so that they eventually get used to totally living with it. Maybe 20 minutes a day at the beginning, then it's an hour a day, then 2 hours.
I wonder if it helps their mobility at the end. We gotta see like a test at the end.
A day, and you slowly see them start to remap their muscle memory and unlearn walking without the limb and really trust it and depend on it by the end. So at the end of the day, I thought this was super cool, and basically it's a huge win for pets like Cleo, and it's also super cool that it's
Huge dub indeed, man.
enabled by tech that feels relatively accessible, like the phone in our pocket, a computer app, 1 or 2 pieces of software, and then 3D printers, like all things that we can get started with. That's how they got started with building this studio in New Jersey and actually helping so many pets.
Probably would help his, well-being, guys. Like,
And they actually now will continue to evolve.
that
this.
one has a roller.
There's other places around the country and the world doing the same sort of thing, but
snap.
they potentially can do remote creations for pets that don't come to the studio, but they get to like send a mold in and then build a prosthesis for other animals they don't even get to
Bro, that's a future, man.
see. I'm not even going to pretend to be an expert on 3D printing or prosthesis, but like hopefully this helps more animals sort of extend their lives and live more freely, I think is the right word. These pieces are typically priced from a couple $100 to up to $1,000 or $2,000, and ideally will
Not that cheap for the easiest model, right?
last a lifetime, at least if they've stopped growing. So thanks to 3D Pets for letting me pull back the curtain a little bit into how they use tech to do what they do. Thanks to Cleo for letting me hang out all day, and thanks to you for watching.
Guys, that's a video. Thank you for watching. Mr. Perfect Tech Official. Okay, but yeah, like, comment, subscribe, check out Marquise in the description. Perfect. Like, videos like these separate Marquise from other tech YouTuber on the platform. 3D printing is excellent for custom parts. Max, is that a 3D printing YouTuber? Might be. No.
This video is gonna blow you.
It is, guys. It is a 3D printing YouTuber. I knew that something like that would happen, man. Alright, guys. Peace out, everyone. Like, comment, subscribe. I do all my reactions live on Twitch, so if you want to come through, say hi, you're more than welcome, and I'll see you guys next one. Later.